Are you ready? Please give an amazing round of applause for this next amazing, lovely guest. Give it up for Miss Terry Farrell!
Be on? Oh, I'm on.
You're on.
Ask however many questions you want to ask because, we're a small group.
I make the rules. She's allowed to break them. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. But I'm easy.
Well, thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming to Miami.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, we're so happy. We're happy to have her here, right?
No, thank you.
Well, the way
There's too much glare.
I know there always is, but that's fine. But
So my glasses are useless. You're autofocus whether they're on or off.
It gives you that wonderful
I can see you, though. You look fabulous.
You got that recorded, right? All right, that's good. I look fabulous because I'm standing next to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have done so many guests, but when I announced you on my social media, all of a sudden my friends are like, Terry Farrell! People actually use the term hubba hubba, which I thought nobody had.
Really?
Yes.
They're old.
Yeah, I know.
Old men. Yeah.
But you absolutely are not. But one thing I always open. I always open with this.
I got that. It did not go over my head.
Okay, that's fine. I like to open with what got you interested in performing and acting, and how did that all begin for you?
Way back.
I know it started with modeling.
It started with modeling.
As we could tell.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. There was a friend who I did a little bit of modeling in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, where I'm from. And she said, you know what, you're really photogenic. You should go to New York. And there was this thing called the Madison Avenue Handbook, which had all of the addresses for all the agencies. So I had my pictures taken, and I mailed them into the top agencies in New York. And that was back in the day where you couldn't copy things. You had to type it out yourself by hand, right? And, address everything by hand. And
put a stamp on it.
Put a stamp on it, yep. Pay for the pictures, not making copies of them. So it was kind of an expensive adventure. I mailed them in when I was 15, but if you remember in the late 70s, it was really into like pluck your eyebrows in a very severe way. I mean, that wasn't the only time in the world, but I did. And so I got many people writing back saying, let your eyebrows grow back in, or you're too tall. Because I was 6 feet tall, but at the time, actually, at 15, I was probably 5'10". Anyway, so I'm 6 feet tall now.
At 15, you were 6 inches taller than me at age 50.
There you go. Yeah. And the world was a cruel place for both of us. Yeah. And anyway, they wrote that back, and so a year later, I let my eyebrow. It didn't take a year, but a year later, I mailed another set of pictures in. And Elite, John Casablancas, who's now passed away, but Elite Model Management, very big agency in New York, one of the top ones, said, we'd like to come see you, and if you look like your pictures, we want to sign you. And that was the beginning of my junior year in high school. And that Christmas, I had just turned 17, and we did a photo shoot, and they said, we think you're going to be a cover girl. And I just thought that was the craziest thing ever. Like, no, not me. I'm this, goofy kid from Iowa, But it happened, and then I started acting classes right when I arrived in New York City. I missed my senior year of high school. And then I got a TV series that was called Paper Dolls, and I moved from New York City to Los Angeles in the summer of '84.
Now, that had a really interesting cast.
Yeah.
Morgan Fairchild, Lloyd Bridges. I mean, what was that experience like?
Jonathan Frakes.
Frakes, yes.
Isn't that crazy? So I met Frakes way back when I was 20, but I was playing 16. Yeah. He was Morgan Fairchild's assistant. Anyway. So it's kind of weird just to know somebody for such a long time and to end up in the Star Trek franchise together is crazy.
Being stage cousins.
Yeah, stage cousins.
Mm-hmm.
What did you ask me?
Oh, I was asking about Paper Dolls, but
Paper Dolls.
that was
Oh, Lloyd Bridges?
Lloyd Bridges.
Yeah, Morgan Fairchild. Morgan Fairchild's such a sweet lady. Is that what you asked me?
Yes, well,
looking at your
Mimi
notes.
Rogers. I was just like, it was just an interesting
yeah.
cast. It was,
It was. Mimi, this is so weird. I just moved back to LA in June, and I was there a week, and I had to go into the DMV to get my new driver's license. I have not seen her for years, decades, in fact, and I see Mimi Rogers crossing in front of me while I'm waiting at the DMV, and I'm like, Mimi? And she looked at me, she went, Farrell? And I'm like, what is happening? It was the weirdest thing. And she's there with her son, Charlie. He's getting his driver's license, too.
wow.
So that is kind of a crazy thing, especially to me, because when I first moved to LA for Paper Dolls, Mimi really befriended me. And at the time, she was dating Bobby Shriver. And then they set me up with his brother, Anthony Shriver. So the four of us hung out together. And Maria and Arnold. Yeah. Like, what? Welcome to LA.
Eat, drink, man, woman.
Yeah. Yeah, they had me actually go to, I didn't know Maria was dating Arnold. So they, Mimi and Anthony and his brother Bobby had me go to Arnold's, just gave me the address. Said, go to Maria's house and get us some beach towels. I'm like, okay. So I go, and who answers the door but Arnold? And I'm like, oh my God. And I was kind of
at his really pumped peak.
He was pumped, but I'm 6 feet and he's probably 5'10". Yeah. So I was like, he's not really as big as I expected. I thought he'd be like 6'4", like, Lou Ferrigno big. Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lou would like that story. Yeah. I worked out with Lou in the 80s when he was a trainer. I don't know, he might still do it, but
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that freaking phenomenal?
Harder, push harder.
Oh.
He's got that affectation.
Well, actually, Lou has worked really hard on his speech, and I imagine just with technology, his hearing aids are much better than they used to be, because he used to have a much more pronounced speech impediment from that.
Yeah. He's still got a little bit. I was on stage.
A little bit.
The trick is, he's got to be able to read my lips. That's the trick. So I changed it.
Yeah. But it's really amazing compared to back in the 80s.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he is still.
He looks phenomenal.
Yes, he is still amazing.
What?
And speaking of phenomenal, after Paper Dolls, you did a quaint little movie with Rodney Dangerfield and Keith Gordon, who's done an amazing directing career,
Right.
and some kid named Robert Downey Jr. Whatever happened to him?
I know, right?
Called Back to School.
Yes. Robert Downey and I we drank a lot of scotch together. Yeah.
All right, then bounced around, did some. No, he did, and then.
But it was crazy, because that was a crazy time. And Burt Young and what we would do on that set was we'd film until about noon. We'd get there at 5 or 6 in the morning and film till about noon, and then Rodney would decide he was going to rewrite. He was rewriting the movie with Harold Ramis, and so he'd be in his trailer writing, and we'd all just hang out. Sally Kellerman, such a freaking cool lady, and Burt Young, who had a bar in his trailer, like it was happy hour. I mean, I didn't drink at work, but it was. But it's so crazy what was acceptable in that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it was the 80s.
Yeah, it was the 80s. Like, definitely not. A comparison on the set of Becker, it was like, we had Emergency and vitamins and herbs and, big salads and, oh my gosh. Anyway, yeah, totally different world. 80s was like, is there a pill for that? Right? Is there medicine for that? I'll take the medicine. Is there diet food? We're back to real food again, right?
I think we're almost there. And then you bounced around with a lot of genre television, did some Twilight Zone, popped up in Family Ties. You were working. You were in the system.
Yeah, I was in the system.
You're in the
I
system?
auditioned for everything, and
You got some of them.
yeah, I got some of them. Yeah.
And again, you were already, looks like you were already going in the sci-fi genre, Quantum Leap, and the first attempt to bring Red Dwarf over to the United States.
Yes, I looked cool, but it was very unsuccessful for me. I couldn't beat that effeminate black man in the English version. I mean, he was hilarious. It was
Yeah.
hilarious. And what was written for me was just not funny, and I definitely didn't know how to elevate it. It just did not, it didn't work. But I looked cool.
You certainly did.
And then thankfully it didn't go for me because that was the same season as Deep Space Nine.
That's right. And then we come into the good stuff. We've eaten our vegetables. Now we get to the dessert.
And I still ended up in a onesie.
How did that evolve from your perspective? When did that become a blip on your radar, and the auditioning process and the character? Because I think the character went through several permutations before they kind of decided on.
Well, what happened was Junie Lowry just didn't think I was ready for the part of Jadzia. But I'd read for her for other things, and obviously not successfully. Otherwise, she would have thought more of me as an actress.
But she kept bringing you back.
No, she actually would
she
not
didn't?
let me.
Oh, okay.
Let me finish. So anyway, when I did Red Dwarf, they had this Star Trek show, and we think you'd be right for it, but the casting director doesn't want to see you. Okay, like, thanks for letting me know that. And anyway, so I did Red Dwarf and what have you. You know, that Star Trek thing's still hanging around. Would you be interested? Yes. Okay, we're going to try to push for that. She still doesn't want to see you. Okay. That's kind of frustrating. And it's weird is because I knew Marina, and I was friends with Marina and Michael Dorn. Jonathan wasn't, Jonathan was somebody I worked with 100 years ago, but Marina and Michael we had a mutual friend that the four of us all hung out together. So I wish I could say that Marina had something to do with it, but I don't think she did. Ron Surma, who was the casting director's assistant to Junie Lowry, though, was the person I read for. It was like finally, by August, they couldn't find anyone to play this character of Jadzia Dax, so then they brought me in. It was like, okay, now we're scraping the barrel. Let's bring Terry Farrell in. That's how they felt at the time. But you know what? I went in and I read with Ron, and I did a better job than I'd done before. And and it makes sense because at that time, I was living with this actor who kind of stunted my career for a while. And then I was coming back and I was reading for a lot of things. So by the time I actually got to come in and read for Deep Space, I'd been auditioning and working back in my acting class. So I had gotten better at acting by the time I read for Jadzia. So, or Dax. Seems weird to keep saying Jadzia because anyway, so that was better. And then I had more confidence anyway by the time I read for it. And then when I started to read for it, I ran lines with Marina, and she helped me with what I should wear. And so I basically looked like a space slut. I had on... Seriously, it was still the end of the Madonna, or Madonna time when she had all the bustier things. So on Melrose Avenue in LA, it was very easy to find, kind of, hip slutty shit that you could wear on the street and not look like a complete hooker, but maybe. So super tight pants and bustier, and I definitely loaded it up so my boobs looked way bigger than they were. And I teased my hair out, and I looked like I should have been in the original series, only without a color to my skin. And so they asked me to tone that down a little bit, and I did. But I got down to the final reading. I read, and there was one actress that didn't show up, and I'd been reading against her for a year at least, and I knew she was bow-legged, and so Marina was like, she looked like crap in the Starfleet uniform, and I'm like, well, I'm going to make sure I'm there. And they said, Terry, you don't need to read again because my agents, because they've already tested you, and they can't legally require you to do it again. But they didn't put us on tape. So I said, well, first of all, I fought so hard to get this freaking audition. I'm going back again. Well, what if you mess it up? I'm like, I'm not going to mess it up. And if I did mess it up, then I didn't deserve the job in my book. It's like, I can do this. And if I can do it once, I can do it a second time because they're going to ask me to do it again. Guess what? On film. So I went back, and there was the girl who I was competing against who didn't expect to see me. That was pretty awesome. I get to have a little, yeah, I'm still here moment. I'm taller. I look better. Look at my legs. They're not bowed.
Psyching them out, weren't you?
Totally.
Yeah.
I wanted that freaking job. So, so I did that. And when I got done reading, I went down to Planet Hell to say hi to Marina and Michael and Jonathan Frakes. And I got to the door. The light stopped. I was about to go in, and they said, Rick Berman needs you back up at the top. So they whisked me away in a little golf cart. I get up there, and I'm thinking, don't make me read for this again, because now I can't remember one word. It's just been emotionally too much. And it's August in LA, so it's probably 110 degrees. So not that it's not hot enough anyway. And I get there, and Junie Lowry's sitting there, and there's Rick and Michael Pillar, and they said, you've got it. And I burst into tears. I was just like, oh my God, I'm playing Spock's character. This is so amazing. And then I went back down. Then, of course, I had to go back down and have, like, Michael Westmore do my face. And I had makeup all over my face from crying. And then what made it worse, I just stopped crying. And then Frakes, Dorn, and Curtis come in. And I'm like, all over again. It's like,
welcome.
I'm working with my friends. Only not really. But that was kind of a drag, too, because I was like, I'd gone through this whole journey with my friends. And then I'm going to meet all these new people. And it was kind of rough in the beginning because they had all bonded, and I was the very last person cast. They've been filming since the beginning of July. This is the end of August. And all my stuff was done last, and I was already so stressed from the audition process.
Wow, I didn't know the photography had already been done. And wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and they gave me a forehead. We shot that for a week. And then Paramount was like, what the fuck did you do to her face? She was a cover girl. That's why we hired her. She was beautiful. So then they had tests for my makeup, and then literally I was the very last person shot.
Wow.
They shot everything, and then they had to go back in and do all my close-ups. And by then I think I had bronchitis by the time we were doing that, because I was so twitched out, so hard to sleep.
What was the initial notes on the character as they described as, okay, you're two characters in one, but they're kind of one, and
or 7 characters in one, but we don't know who all of them are.
Exactly.
It was sort of famous that they said that you're Yoda and Grace Kelly, and I again don't know what to do with that. But that was I don't know what meeting that was, but there were so many meetings. That's the one though that stood out because it was. I'd seen Star Wars. I know who Yoda was, and I clearly knew who Grace Kelly was. But other than being, a statuesque like Grace Kelly, I could not figure out what else. Grace, beauty, that. Okay, that makes sense. That I don't have to think about, though. That's hair and makeup and my demeanor. But Yoda, really. Interesting.
Yeah, I've always thought that you brought a precociousness to it. Here was a character who was the smartest person in the room, but didn't want to lord it over the other characters. So there was that inherent wisdom.
Yes. I think I felt like the cool mom.
Yes.
Like, I know I'm older than everybody else, but I'm also super compassionate, and you guys are all going through a phase, whatever your particular phase is, whether you're 12, 35, 52, 71, you're still going through whatever your phase is. I'm 350. I got you all beat. I got a lot of room to be compassionate, right? So I guess in that sense, that would be Yoda. But I took it a different I was going more for Taoism and Buddhism and those kinds of lifetime, that kind of bigness, not the Force. What does the Force have to do with Star Trek? Yeah. That's not real enough. I can't apply that. I can't take care of you or protect you with the Force because that's not real.
Yeah.
I have a phaser and a batleth.
In the evolution of the character as it went on, did you ever think in your mind, this line comes from Jadzia, this line comes from Dax. Did you ever have that delineation in your head, or was it just you looked at it as one entity?
Yeah, in the beginning I did, and I think that started to make me a little nuts about it. And that's where all the meetings started happening, because I was just like, wow, what do I do with these? How do I apply all of this? And I actually had a really good a girlfriend, actually old enough to be my mom, a mentor to me, who was just like, Terry, you got to just play whatever's on the paper. And she took drama in Yale, so I figure if you went to Yale, you know what you're talking about. And she did, and it really was completely applicable for me, because I couldn't play anything unless it was there.
Yeah.
You can't play every experience you've ever had, right? And it's like that. If you have 7 lifetimes, to me, I compared it to, well, I was this side of me when I was in elementary school, when we did all this moving, and then my mom got divorced and got remarried, and that was a different life for me. And I even had a different last name, and then she got divorced from him and remarried, and then she got divorced from him, and I moved to New York, and then she got remarried to him, and then I moved to LA. But my life changed so much with these different events in my life that's Adam.
Can we say hi to him?
That's my Adam sound. I love Adam. I'm sorry, I'm having a moment. Yep. I showed him a picture of you guys, and I wrote, "It's slow." You're not slow. But, he's had a couple of slow shows, and I'm like, look, it happens to everyone. So this is one of those, see? It happens to everyone. But this show is kind of slow overall, wouldn't you guys say? Yeah, it's a quiet show. He loves me.
Aww.
Intimate.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, like that. Yeah, intimate.
Well, speaking of intimate, would you like to get intimate with your loving public? And let's open up to
Get
their
intimate,
questions.
you guys. Got any
All right.
questions?
I told you the rules, and she said break them, so you're on your own.
I've been 5'6" in 7th grade, so they're with you. What was your favorite episode of?
5'6".
I
5'6",
know.
awesome though, because you could wear like 3-inch heels and you're still only 5'9". I wear 3-inch heels and I'm 6'3". Not really as sexy to most people. Can we turn the lights
Some
up
men
so I
aren't
can
most
see
people.
everybody? Is that okay if we turn the lights up?
Yeah, we can inverse the lights.
Yay, thank you.
What was your favorite episode of Deep Space Nine that centered around Jadzia Dax?
Golly. Okay, I just want to first and foremost say there is not a favorite episode that does not revolve around me. Because I wasn't into that terrorist war stuff. I'm like, whatever. But, gosh. I think the one that just the most fun was Trials and Tribulations, because I got to I really loved other ones that had obviously much bigger political messages in the world for just super proud that I could be a part of those things. But this had to do with my childhood and me loving the original series when I was, in elementary school. I mean, it really was an integral part of my afternoon playground time. We really made a spaceship out of leaves, and the shortest boy in school was Captain Kirk, and I was whatever alien I wanted to be, one color or another, usually green. But yeah, that was my favorite one to do, because it took me back in time, and they had me do a lot of publicity for that too, because I think I was the only person that was super excited about it besides the crew. And the crew was excited because they had challenges they didn't normally have. We couldn't go back digitally to look anything up. They had to go look it up on film and then do the details on our costumes just visually. So, and same with the sets. And what was so great too was because it was so far into the show, we'd all had so much experience with green screen that that was a breeze. And we had 3 days of green screen just for those, every time we crossed Kirk and Spock and we were on the ship. And so it was really relaxing and fun. There was nothing stressful about that show for me. It was just so exciting to go to work. It felt like this is what it's supposed to feel like to be an actress. Everything's fun, everybody's nice, everybody's happy, it was just easy. And so that's also why it wasn't just because of the show, it was the experience itself was really lighthearted and just, fun to lose sleep over that show.
It was such a great love letter back to the fans.
Wasn't it?
It was, and I'm so glad they went in that direction, because they were kicking around a couple of ideas. They thought about going back to the gangster planet and having it all be a bunch of Trek fans and stuff, and they thought it was...
Wow.
And but they thought,
They got lucky.
what, that's poking too much fun at the fans, and instead they just gave us this wonderful gift, and of course you rocked the classic miniskirt.
And thank you. Thank you. I'm going to be, in fact, I'll be wearing that for the Las Vegas creation show. Little photo op. Yeah, last time a couple years ago, I wore my my wedding dress, and then I said, for the 25th, could I wear my Trials and Tribulations? And they were like, yes! And I'm like, yes! But I'm like, this time, though, I need somebody else to do my hair and makeup. And they're, it's easy because I don't have spots in that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I can't do that beehive by myself. That's just like, what?
That's a lost art.
Yeah, right. It is a lost art. Thank you. But also it was making television history, how that was the first time that was ever done. So that was super exciting too, putting the two shows together. Not a lot of shows
No.
First of all, what are they drawing on?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's a well-written plot. I mean, it's just, it's the
amazing.
Fan favorite. It's the fan favorite. All right, that was a great question. Here, you get 2 pieces for that. Woo!
Oh,
right. What you got, boss?
candy?
Okay.
So you chuck candy at the fans?
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of candy?
Oh, you have to earn some, and you'll find out.
Is it Hershey's?
It's Tootsie Rolls.
Did you? Okay.
Tootsie Rolls. I have these trays in my teeth to straighten them again.
Yeah. Maybe at the end. We'll see.
Maybe at the end.
We'll
if
see.
I'm a
The
good
fans will
girl.
vote if you get one or not. How's that?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for showing up.
you.
I've actually been a fan since actually back to school.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And obviously, Rodney was the comic on that set. And each Star
my
Trek
God.
cast has its own jokester, like Bob Picardo on Voyager. Who was the jokester on set of DS9?
Call him.
Really?
Call him. He could get you with just a look. He's just such a little fucker, that one.
I would never have guessed that.
No,
He always seems like he's all business.
Seriously?
When in my experiences with him, yeah.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, all right.
Oh, no, he's a naughty boy. He's a naughty, naughty boy. Yes, he will he's just, I don't know what it is. It's the timing, it's the look on his face. He's bad boy to the bone, seriously. And then he'll do something that makes you laugh, and then he'll look back at what? And it's just... And he doesn't learn his lines to that last dang second, so you can't run lines with him. And I need to run lines. That's important for me. So yeah, he would it'd be difficult.
Right.
And then I can't, last night, I'm sorry, I feel almost like I'm on the set right now. I'm so overtired. These people next to my room were partying last night.
Right.
Like the 80s partying. They'd be like, la, 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 and then silence. And I'm like, someone's doing blow over there. It gotta be, because
It's an 80s party.
right? Because it's weird. When in a party is it suddenly silent?
Yeah.
So in my mind, I'm laying there trying to sleep. I'm like, all I can see is them doing this. And everybody's like, waiting their turn. Sorry, there are kids in the audience. Anyway, but that's what it made me think of. And at 4 a.m, to be just, and so loud. And I call him when I call, they hear the ring, everybody goes silent. They hear, hello? I'm like, I know you're awake. I'm right next to you guys, and you're really loud. Could you please keep it down? Yeah, no problem. And then I get an obligatory 5-10 minute silence. So I took off their do not disturb as I left. If that was any one of you, you better not.
Housekeeping.
Yeah, and they do that really annoying thing with the actual card. Oh, no, that doesn't even sound like it. But you know that tick, 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 tick?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope they all have migraines today.
Remind me not to cross you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Short.
Hi.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say that this is my first Comic-Con, and actually,
Welcome.
thank you. And actually, the main reason why I wanted to come it was because of you.
Thank you.
You're my favorite DS9 character.
Oh, thank
It's-
you.
I don't know. You're like the prettiest one, the coolest one, and
Thank you.
the one that has most wisdom, whatever.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so my question is, because I follow all of you guys on Twitter, I wonder if, for you guys as an actors of the Star Trek family, do you guys feel any political responsibility? Because I know all of you guys tweet on whatever is happening now. So do you feel like it? That's it, because you became part of the family and it's all now about politics and diversity. Do you feel like you're responsible to kind of express what you should to the rest of the public?
What you should. Interesting choice of words.
Well, not really.
I think this all has become a very good, to find the silver lining, to me, the silver lining in all of this presidency would be that is that people who weren't involved or don't vote, that if you feel like you weren't represented, this is the opportunity to get active, get involved. I know for me and Adam, we've gone to 2 fundraisers to help turn congressional seats from Republican to Democrat. And they don't represent us, but they represent all of us. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So doing what you can. You do what you can. Give to nonprofits that the Trump organization is stripping of their funding. Thank you. And donate to them. Like Planned Parenthood, my grandmother was one of the first women who ever worked for Planned Parenthood. She was a registered nurse and became a nurse practitioner. And that, of course, for anybody else visiting her, it would have been great, but I'm sure if I came into that office, she would have freaking killed me. But but that's that generation, right? But at any rate, so that was important to me and spoke to me because I think that's so cool that she was ahead of her time there. I think this is an opportunity for all of us to see that we do have responsibilities in a democracy to stand up and get educated and do what we can do to make the place a better place for us. And when people that don't agree with us, like we have to change the electoral vote. That's just insane that Hillary had the votes and he won. It's just insane. It's so hard to wrap my brain around. I mean, the same thing with Gore. It was like, what happened? I went to sleep and he was president. I woke up and it's Bush. What happened? I wouldn't have gone to sleep. Not that would have made a difference. But, you know, obviously, it was good for us to be aware that there is such a large group of people. I was really surprised how many people, I didn't think of our country as being so bigoted, and that's heartbreaking to me. I don't think of Americans as being that mean and harsh and angry and scared, and it's just really upsetting to me that there's this disenfranchised group of scary people that walk around representing our country. And I'm so embarrassed that he's our president. It's just so hard to wrap my brain around. But yes, I do think we're all responsible. I try to be careful because I get really crazy texts back. Marina has thicker skin than I do. So I'll retweet some things, but some things I'm like, I don't really need a whole hate lashing today. It's just not worth it. And I'm not actively working. I'm still an at-home mom. I have that responsibility about being right. Thank you. Best job ever. I figure, I'll be one of those few actresses that didn't get anything done to their face, and then I'll suddenly meet demand when I'm 60, when he's 20, because he's 14 now. He's got 6 years. Like me and Marina will be like the only women who haven't had work done to our face. Will be like, oh, she actually looks her age. Let's hire her. And she doesn't look like a clown. But anyway, so I also have a responsibility to that community to not be somebody who's stirring the pot. I think that doesn't help either. I think there's got to be a compassionate way to listen to both sides. I feel like I really like that about the Obama administration, at least the integrity of trying. Let's all try to compromise and find something that works for everybody. Because obviously there's so many of us, we can't possibly see the world the same way. Not all of us came from the same backgrounds, right? They're backgrounds I don't understand because I didn't grow up in them. But try to be in other people's shoes to how they see the world, But yeah, I think it's all of our responsibility. And all of us have the ability to speak up and have a voice. Every single one of us, right? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for doing that. I mean, really, that's what Star Trek is all about. It's all about diversity and embracing and giving opportunity to every single person. So.
Absolutely, and we're all valuable. We're all so valuable. All of us, yeah.
Hold on, wait, what?
Oh, no, she deserves
And you get one, too, for the Rodney Dangerfield thing. So. Okay, considering that wonderful political debate, here's a red and a blue one. We don't need white.
Oh, no. No, but this is both sides of the coin, right?
Yeah,
Well, what
yep.
would white be? White would be Green Party, or you have green. Let's get the green
got
in there.
that.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yay.
I'd have a libertarian one, but no one would figure out what it
What,
tastes
oranges?
like. Yeah.
Those are the immigrants. We'll go with
Oh,
orange.
yeah, so I got. What's up, Chief?
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you so much for coming. I wanted to tell you that looking forward to meeting you. My daughter's a huge new fan of Deep Space Nine.
Yay, thank
it's
you
been
for
a-
that. Thank you for that.
And she truly loves your character. She's in high school, but she's in the IB program, so she's a biology and physics person.
Wow.
And so she just loves watching. She loves
Smart girl.
And I just love the portrayal, your strong and positive portrayal of a woman scientist.
Thank you.
And
Thank
she
you.
just loves your acting. And I guess
you.
my question is, although she did ask it a bit, as an actress, do you feel, as an actor, do you have responsibility with the types of roles that you pick, especially in this current climate? I know it's very difficult sometimes to find an acting job. Are there things that you see, on principle, I want to turn those down? Is there something you feel that as a whole, as a mother and as a person with a social conscience that you should or just should not do?
Wow, interesting. Thank you. Good question. I think at the beginning it didn't really matter as long as I wasn't naked. I just wanted a job. And, then having said that, as a model, I did model furs. I feel a different, I don't know how far away Marina is, but I think if you're part of PETA, you shouldn't wear leather. I'm not part of PETA. I have leather shoes on. I do think that there are animals that are rodents. They just have nicer fur. I'm not for anything being, abused or hurt or anything like that. But, I'm sorry, do cows enjoy being killed so that I can have a leather purse? Probably not. It probably doesn't feel good to them. But anyway, I've sold furs. I've sold cigarettes. Was a Virginia Slims model, but I bought a house with it. So, yeah, I guess
Come a long way, baby.
I've come a long way, baby. Oh my God, you're awesome. Most people in the room don't know what that is. So my survival was more important than my social conscience at that point in my life, for a lot of reasons. But then I had Max, and I was doing Tripping the Rift, and I said, I have to quit. I can't do that. I can't do soft porn. This is just really, At first I thought I'm never gonna get married, and in my, by the time I was 37, yeah, I'll do Tripping the Rift. Sure, fuck it, whatever. Yeah, I'll do Howard Stern. I'll say anything. And then I'm like, holy shit, now I'm gonna be a mom. Okay, I'm not doing Tripping the Rift. I'm gonna pretend, la 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 la, I didn't do Howard Stern. And it shifts your perspective in a big way, in a really big way. And I was really ready for it. I think it's a fine line. Like, there were things I said no to because of language, because I have nieces that are multiracial. So there was something where I was going to audition for that I'd have to call Cicely Tyson a really bad word. And I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. It's too close to my family. And I can sell you a cigarette, but I can't do that to my nieces and nephews. So there's things like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I was clear on those things. But the thing is, it's a character, and it's a true portrayal of what was happening in the world at that time. But for me, to have my nieces and nephews see me say it, you don't see the difference as a kid. To the kid, you're you saying it. You're not a character. So that makes a difference. And on top of it, with the social awareness and the whole thing with politics, I think that's all of our jobs. I don't think actors have a more important role. We just have a bigger stage to get our voice out there. I don't think it means that I'm more educated to speak about politics than anyone else. I know I'm not, but my opinion matters because I'm American, and I have what I think is important about being American. But I respect that you might have a different point of view, but your voice is just as important as mine. All of us have an important voice. The only thing that changes about that is that it makes it easier for me to get my opinion out there. But also, I understand what you're saying about social responsibility, because, is it socially responsible to have supersized meals? I mean, we know they're bad for us. They know that we're giving people diabetes and obesity and all of that. And just because you can, does that mean it's okay to do it? Is it okay to make food that is not nutritious? That seems wrong, that there's this whole... So, you have to be aware of what you're putting out there, in the universe. You do. Yeah.
Great, yeah.
I think it feeds your soul back and forth,
We're all in it together.
Yeah.
So I always feel like society is based on a trust thing. It's like, I got to trust somewhere. I'm going to trust the science that the world is round.
Yeah.
Because it seems like there's more of it, as opposed to the couple of people on YouTube who say, no, it's flat, and I'll tell you why.
Oh, I'm so sorry for you. But you know what? Then that brings up the point, too, that we're all in different places, too, right? Some people are not aware yet. So you need to have compassion.
Yes.
They're not educated yet. They're ignorant on certain subjects. I'm ignorant on certain subjects. Please give me compassion. I'm not caught up to you.
Yes.
Right. So we need to also support everyone that they're at wherever level they're at.
And I think on the political thing and the climate and half this country, I feel like we need to look at it as a dimmer switch, not a light switch, not an on-off thing. We need to understand that some people have to go at their own pace. And I feel like it's our responsibility to turn the other cheek and be patient with them.
Right.
If we can.
Or educate.
And educate. The whole point is
But don't turn the other cheek. That's like the head in the sand. Or
maybe
sleeping
an
dog's
argument.
fly.
I'm not talking.
I like
I'm not
to
talking
change that.
capitulation. I'm not talking
Right,
capitulation.
right. So
I'm talking I'm standing your ground.
Right. It's like I accept you, but I don't approve.
And let me
Like you're an alcoholic.
And
I
let
can
me
accept
explain-
that, but
and
I
let me
don't
explain
really.
why.
I'm not going to approve of it. Like I'm not going to serve you alcohol.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And we are now in what we call the lightning round. So
Lightning
we got
round.
what 1, 2, 3 left. All right, boss, come on up real quick.
Hey, Terry.
Hello.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks. So, as an actor, I imagine that there must be some good backstage antics. So, do you have any fond memories of any pranks you pulled or friends pulled or?
Well, definitely not on Star Trek. A little too much work. Not enough downtime on Deep Space Nine. Antics. I do remember on Becker, it was very hard to keep a straight face many times, and I think that's because it's comedy, we're not supposed to laugh. It's supposed to be our reality. So many times, what's that wonderful thing, like when you're a kid and you're not supposed to laugh, and then you feel like you're going to die, you're laughing so hard. That is the best part about being on a comedy, I would say. So it doesn't feel so much like antics, except for that because it's live in front of a studio audience, there are many little things that happen that you have to roll with, like you were doing it on stage, a live theater production, because we don't stop rolling unless it really gets messed up to try to get as much as we can, because with the studio audience, there were 200 people there every time we filmed. And I was in 96 episodes, so that made me more comfortable being in front of everybody all the way around after my experience with Becker. You just got to get over it. But there were many times when I would maybe forget something in the diner and that I was supposed to have to take through on another. So the scene would still be going on, and I would come from down below the diner and grab whatever it was and then go back as quietly as I could. But sometimes the other actors would catch me, or I would catch them doing the same thing, and you're trying so hard not to laugh. So they're visual funny things that happen, not really something that can, although there was one time too, this was not funny at all actually, the executive producers, one of the first shows we did, got mad at me that I wasn't getting this one line right. And I went back to start the scene again, and I looked at my prop man, and I was trying so hard not to cry, okay, if I open my eyes wide enough, the tears won't come out. And he's like, you've got this, don't cry. I thought, I want to be Dax. I want to be a hero again. I want to be a hero. I hate this job. And then I got over it. And then I was really wanting it to go on forever, and then they let me go. So, yay, those are my fun stories.
Right on. All right, we got 2 minutes. All right, boss, there's yours.
You just got pelted with.
He turned his back on it.
You got pelted with candy. It's under.
All right, young lady, what's your name? What's your question?
My name is Ruth. Hi.
Hi, Ruth.
So my husband and I are really big Star Trek fans, and when we got married, it was one of the things that we used to like to do is sit and watch Star Trek together. And I've raised my kids watching, we would sit all summer. I'm a teacher, so in the summer we sit and we watch TV all day long. And we watched all of Deep Space Nine together. We watched all of Voyager, and we're big Deep Space Nine fans. Thank you.
Thank you.
And
You're welcome.
I think one of the reasons why, I just wanted to tell you that one of the reasons why I like Dax so much as a character is because she is so strong and so empowered and such a comfortable female character. She's comfortable with herself, and thank you for bringing life to that. I mean, she was
Thank
just
you.
so wonderful, and so she was one of the boys, and she was one of the girls.
Yeah.
She was one of everybody, and she was very identifiable. And I just wanted to thank you for bringing that to me and my family.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for getting that from me.
Hold on. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey.
Woo!
Hello.
What's your favorite yoga pose?
Eagle pose.
Okay.
Do you like eagle? Do you know eagle?
What does it look like?
Yeah, what does it look like?
Let's see if you can do it. Oh yeah, I like that one too. There we go.
I'll catch you if you fall.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you, young lady, for that one. All right, real quick, what social media outlets can we follow you on? I know you're active on Twitter and.
Ooh, this is you. This
Oh,
was
all right, let's switch this up. All right, and you're.
I am at Terry Farrell on Twitter. And I never get on Facebook because if I say one thing on Facebook, I get so kind of overwhelmed. I can't, it's crazy. I have one for my family, but one that's Terry Farrell on Facebook, and that one's just,
And
it's overwhelming. You know what I mean?
and your
You
fella
probably feel that way with your own accounts. It's just too much.
and your fella has a project he's working on coming out, right?
Well, he's
But it has
actually
come out,
writing
yeah.
a script right now, a pilot that I hope gets picked up. Did you guys read his book, My So-Called Wonderful Miserable Life by Adam Nimoy. He's writing a pilot based on that book to be a TV series. So there's no part for me, but I'm rooting for him. Because I want to be the wife, at-home mom, and, maybe the TV movie in the summertime.
Nice little Hallmark movie, something like that.
Right? Be the queen on the mountain, yes. Little Barbie movie kind of thing. No, I would like to do guest stars and films again, but I want to do it. I'm going to wait till we're settled in our house, and we don't move into our new house until Thanksgiving, Christmas next year. So
we look forward to it. We're going to totally follow you on Twitter. And also, just to let y'all know, Farrell, thank you for spending this time with us. Thank you for coming out to fandom and everything else.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful.
We are not fans of Dax. We are fans of you. We really are. Thank you so much.
Hey, wasn't that fun? I know I had a great time. If you want to see some more great videos just like that, you can click right over here. Also, click here to subscribe to our channel and leave a thumbs up and a comment in the section below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.